Riya felt a jolt, a real, actual jolt of pure awesome. She typed into her computer and then, bam! The words appeared. Hello world! It was like magic. Her magic. She made the computer talk. This was it. This was the beginning of something amazing. She could feel it deep in her nerdy heart. JavaScript was her new best friend, or so she thought. This was going to be epic. Then came the bugs. Oh, the bugs, little gremlins in her code. Her new best friend JavaScript suddenly felt like a frenemy. 1 minute things worked, the next, broken, totally broken. Red error messages screamed at her from the screen. What did undefined is not a function even mean? It felt like a secret code designed to make her cry. She stared at the screen for hours. Her brain felt like mush. This was harder than any boss level she'd ever faced. The frustration was real, folks. Super real, like wanting to throw your laptop out the window real. But then she'd remember that first hello world, that little zing of power. She wanted that feeling back. So she'd take a deep breath, maybe grab a cookie or 7, and dive back in. Each fixed bug was a tiny victory, a mini level up. She was learning, even if it felt like wading through digital quicksand. It was a slow, often painful process. Every great developer starts here. Yes, even the super geniuses who seem to speak in code, they all had their hello world moment. And they all had their moments of wanting to quit. It's part of the journey, like a rite of passage for coders. So, Riya kept going. She knew, somewhere deep down, that this struggle was important. It was teaching her more than just syntax. It was teaching her how to fight, and how to think. This coding thing was a puzzle and she was determined to solve it. There was this one bug, this one horrible, monstrous bug. It haunted Riya's dreams. Seriously, she'd close her eyes and see lines of broken JavaScript. For days, it taunted her. She tried everything, Googling like a maniac, asking on forums, which is scary, rewriting the code, deleting the code, writing it again. Nothing worked. The website she was building just stared back, stubbornly broken. She was so close to just giving up. Maybe coding wasn't for her after all. This thought was a heavy weight. She almost clicked uninstall on her code editor. Her mouse hovered over the button. This was it. The end of her short, frustrating coding adventure. She imagined a life without error messages. It sounded peaceful. But then, she thought about why she started. That hello world feeling, the dream of building cool things. Giving up felt worse than the bug itself. So, with a sigh that could power a small windmill, she decided to try one more time, just one more time. She owed it to herself. And then it happened. After hours that felt like years. After drinking enough coffee to fuel a rocket, she spotted it, a tiny typo, a single misplaced semicolon, a villain so small, yet so powerful. She fixed it, held her breath, refreshed the page, and it worked! The feature sprang to life. She actually shouted, out loud, probably scared her cat. But who cares, the feeling was incredible. Better than finding a rare loot drop. Pure, unadulterated victory. She had faced the code monster and won. That moment changed everything. It wasn't just about fixing the bug, it was about what she learned fighting it. She realized that persistence was way more important than being perfect. Nobody writes perfect code the first time, or the 10th time. It's about trying, failing, and trying again, and again. That bug taught her resilience. It taught her that the answer is always there, somewhere. You just have to keep looking. Showing up day after day, even when it's hard, that's the secret. Riya kept showing up, every day. Some days she wrote a lot of code, some days just a little. But she did it every day. Practice, practice, practice. Slowly things started to click. Those scary error messages, they started to make sense. She began to see patterns. She learned to debug like a detective. She wasn't just copying tutorials anymore. She was understanding. She was building. Her skills grew. From tiny scripts, she moved to bigger projects. She was becoming a developer, a real one. She even started to tackle full-stack development. Front-end, back-end, she was learning it all. Now Riya is a full-stack developer. She builds amazing things that work, most of the time. She remembers those early days, the frustration, the tears, and she smiles. Because those struggles made her who she is today. She's not afraid of bugs anymore. They're just puzzles waiting to be solved. And she has big dreams. Her next adventure? She wants to launch her own product. A cool app that will help people. Something that's uniquely hers. Built with her own 2 hands. And a lot of JavaScript. Her journey shows us something super important. Success in coding, or anything really, isn't about being a genius from day one. It's about perseverance. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it. It's about that daily grind, that commitment to learn and grow, one line of code at a time. Every great developer was once a beginner, fumbling through their first lines of code. They all felt overwhelmed. They all wanted to quit at some point, but they didn't. And that's why they succeeded. So if you're learning to code right now, listen up. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to feel frustrated. It's normal. See those tricky challenges not as roadblocks but as opportunities to level up your skills. Every bug you squash makes you stronger. Every problem you solve makes you smarter. Believe in yourself. You have the ability to learn this. You can do it. Just keep going. Keep practicing. Keep dreaming. Your hello world is just the start of an amazing adventure. Go build something awesome.